Hi guys, welcome to the first video on CNRNNs. So in the previous lectures we have studied and we have done a lot of projects. We have done a project starting from the autoregressor side of things. We implemented the machine learning techniques like ARIMA, SARIMAs. We have implemented multiple linear regression and then followed by the Gaussian process, Arch and GARC model. So these are basically some of the models in the machine learning side of things that we have explored. Okay. Now in this particular series, we will understand even deeper frameworks of time series, which is the CNNs and the RNNs. Okay. So we'll start with the deep learning introduction. Okay, and then we will move on towards understanding that what are the different segments and what are the different types of architectures that we are using in this particular time series problem. Okay, so starting on with the process, we will first introduce the time series in which we will highlight that okay, what are the basic components. So this is something that we already and we always cover in our first lecture, that okay, what is time series. Just to have an idea, just to give a brief about what is time series, and just to lay a foundation that okay, this is something that that is required, and this is something which is being expected from the time series module. The next we'll start with the deep learning with time series. So this is here we will introduce the deep learning side of things along with the time series, and then we will follow this with the architecture of multi-layer perceptron, convolution neural networks, LSTMs, hybrid CNNs, and LSTM. So basically we've starting from the basic of deep learning, which is multi-layer perceptron. We'll go to the specialized architecture, and in the end we will cover this hybrid CNN LSTM side of things. All right, so we'll start with the time series introduction. Um, and so, okay, so let's get started. So we are going to discover how it is different from the other types of data that and that you have previously encountered, and why is it different. Okay, so time series is a sequence of information which attaches a time period to each value. Okay, so here we have a sequence of information. Here we have something called a different side of things, that each information that we are capturing, each data points that we are having right now with us, we attach a time period to that particular value. Okay, we always attach some kind of value to that period, so that whenever we are referring to that particular data, we know that okay, that particular data refers to a fixed time period. Okay, the value can be pretty much anything measurable. Okay, so it depends on the time in some way. So it can be anything measurable, but that value has to depend on time. Okay, so that is something that is a time series. Okay, so the value can be prices. So the prices here is a dynamic range, and we all know that the prices of things increases or decreases with time. Okay, so let's say if we take the price of petrol. Okay, so at that particular time, at this date, what was the price of the petrol? Okay, and in the other date, what is the price of the petrol? Okay, so this is how we basically deal with this fact, and this is what the time series is all about. Okay, as long as the values are recorded are unambiguous, any medium could be measured with time series. Okay, so we are just referring to unambiguous records. Okay, there aren't any limitation regarding the total span of the time series. Okay, so it's not that the data has to be recorded in from this date to that date. Okay, there has to be a fixed, there's no limitation to that. Okay, it's just that each value should point to that particular time period. Okay, and that's the only thing which is being asked by this time series data. So this data is very different from the rest of the data that we deal with, because each data pointer is uniquely defined by that particular time period. Okay, it could be a minute, a day, a month, or even a century. Okay, so the frequency at which the data is captured, it can be a day, a minute. Okay, so and the data can be captured every minute, every day, or every month. Okay, all we need is a start point and an ending point. Okay, so these are the two things that we need. Okay, so we cannot just take the entire life cycle of few things. So here we attach it with a fixed time period that okay, if this, we will analyze the data from starting from this time period to the last one. Okay, moving on towards the further one. So these are the some other features that we should encounter. The first thing is data should be chronological. Okay, that is something chronological means the data has to start from a sequential fashion. It has to start from a lesser number and it has to go to a larger number. So here, as you can see over the image over the top right, that 1950, the data is starting from 1950 and the data is ending at 1960. Okay, so that is basically how the data is being defined chronologically. Okay, it cannot be shuffled. Okay, obviously the data, if we shuffle the data set, we will lose the insights of the data. Okay, and we will lose this chronological factor that we're talking about. Okay, so data has to be chronological. Each row indicates a specific time period. Okay, so each row, so here as you can see the data is over the bottom right corner. So each row that we have at this particular point is associated with this particular time. Okay, so each row is basically a time record. Okay, and the train race plot also happens chronologically. So here you can see that okay, the data is being split at 1959, and we are not shuffling the data set and then splitting it out. We're just taking a time period that okay, from this to this time period we will use it as training, and from this to this we will use for testing. Okay, so that is basically what chronologically means. Data is analyzed univariately and multivariately for the given use case. Okay, so based on the kind of use case that we are dealing with, the data can be analyzed either univariately or multivariately. Okay, the nature of the data represent if it can be predicted or it cannot be predicted. Okay, so that is another feature. So there are few of the pre-processing techniques that we use in the time series domain. Okay, so we'll just brief a bit about what are those techniques. Okay, so first is reading the data using pandas with a describe and head. Okay, the panda provide a great library to analyze the data, to take the data. Okay, next is check for null values. So it basically checks that okay, it's important to check for the null values definitely. The line plot of each feature. So as based on the last point we said, the nature of the data represents if it can be predicted or not predicted. So basically the line plot of each feature represents that okay, we are basically seeing that okay, if that particular data is predicted or not predicted. Another thing is sometimes what happens is the date that we have stored is in the form of string. Okay, so we need to convert it into form of a date time feature so that it can be analyzed. And what I mean by that, we will explain in the later lectures. Okay, setting the desired frequency. So frequency is the rotations at which the data is being captured. Okay, so that is basically the desired frequency. Next is handling the missing values and then the QQ plots. Okay, so these are basically some of the pre-processing techniques that we have studied. In the next video, we'll actually try to implement the techniques before we move on towards our our lecture, our agenda for this particular lecture, for this particular series, which is the deep learning architecture. Thank you and have a nice day.